One of the key focus areas in our work was learning with real-world story, around the question, how can story sharing activate ESD? And we found that a lot of the teachers were already active in the story style approaches, and we identified three startup knowledge experience approaches to ESD, all centered around matters of concern. So they were issue approaches to ESD. In India, in the circles of care there, we found exploring, discovering, thinking, and acting was a sequence that was used. In the KwaZulu-Natal area, we found that drawing on Kolb's work, exploring was around something concrete and often involving a problem, and then observation and reflection to discover things, working with abstract concepts to be able to think using theory, and then active experimentation. And there were quite a variety of these that we pulled together for the handprint work using Anne Edwards' task sequencing around stories, finding out, working out, and trying out. Now, the handprint care work then took up a strong focus on real-world stories, and we've seen from the previous aspect that ethics and deliberative ethics was really important. And here now we get on to issue-centered inquiry, and later we look at heritage-based inquiry. But these three areas kind of integrate in really interesting methodological ways that give teachers plenty of options for approaching ESD around stories and using this four-quadrant issue-centered or matters of concern type of approach. So the handprint approach to subject teaching with real world stories can activate, as the teachers put it, learning with stories that they can see in the world around them. So the teachers were saying the children are not just seeing the knowledge in the books now, but they're seeing the knowledge in the world around them. And my colleague Krista in Germany worked out that there are quite a variety of important areas that need to be looked at to open up narrative and knowledge sharing, to look at indigenous stories, to enhance situated learning and shared understanding. That was work in Mexico. Life experience and heritage, also reflected in Mexico, South Africa, and India. Learning in relation to local and global realities, coming out of some of the work in Germany. Sustainability concerns for critical inquiry, using systems thinking, and working together towards handprint actions for change that was common to everyone. But central to this was the narrative, the bringing forward of the language competencies through story approaches that were able to focus on real-world stories into curriculum-activated story sharing, inquiry to find out more, deliberation to work out things together, and trying out things in terms of lifestyle and choices that people made. And this opened up stories as central to the handprint way. And there were quite a variety of real-world stories that were used, particularly the Umkhomba taking the Kamishibai Japanese stories and producing picture stories that show the way. And we'll explore these in the example today on this particular issue-centered approach. So, real-world stories that invite students to share their experiences and ideas can be the foundations for positive learning actions to resolve matters of concern in relation to future sustainability using the handprint way. And here is some of the research that was done in Southern Africa with teachers.